Hi, welcome to AB-730, the AI Business Professional Certification course. I trust you have reviewed the previous video and begun developing your foundational understanding of artificial intelligence. My name is Alexandra. I am an AI Solution Architect at Microsoft. Drawing upon a decade of experience in technology education across 50 countries and proficiency in 5 languages, I am committed to integrating AI with business applications. If my international accent presents any challenges, please enable live captions for improved accessibility during this course. For more insights into my professional journey at Microsoft, I invite you to connect with me on LinkedIn via aka.ms/Alexandra. In the second module, we will explore Microsoft 365 Copilot Chat, a leading generative AI solution designed to enhance workplace productivity and efficiency. Upon completion of this module, you will understand how Copilot Chat can seamlessly integrate into your daily workflow and become an essential resource for achieving more with less effort. Microsoft 365 Copilot is your AI assistant built directly into the tools you already use every day: Teams, Outlook, Excel, and Word. Its purpose is simple: help you move faster, stay organized, and spend less time on routine work. Copilot Chat expands this experience through a dedicated chat interface where you can ask questions, generate content, and uncover insights using both web knowledge and your Microsoft 365 data. Because it lives inside your work environment, it supports real business tasks, not just isolated AI conversations. The key to getting real value from Copilot Chat is how you communicate with it. Clear, well-structured prompts lead to focused, useful results. Vague requests produce general answers. Prompting isn't about memorizing special commands. It's about clearly describing your goal, the context, and what you want the outcome to look like. In this module, you will learn how to craft prompts that produce better results across Microsoft 365 apps. We'll explore practical scenarios, such as summarizing emails, drafting documents, extracting action items, and organizing information. By the end, you'll be able to recognize where Copilot Chat fits into your daily workflow, helping you reduce repetitive work so you can focus on the tasks that truly requires your expertise and judgment. Now, let's look at where Copilot Chat really shines. Copilot Chat is a shared AI conversation space across 365. Instead of switching between apps, files, and tabs, you simply ask and Copilot keeps the context, understands your intent, and continues the conversation like a real assistant. What makes it powerful is its reach. From a single chat, Copilot can connect information across Word, Excel, Teams, and Outlook, bringing everything together without interrupting your workflow. It combines advanced AI with the secure work data, so you can stay focused on decisions, not navigation. You can access Copilot Chat from the Microsoft 365 app inside Teams or in your browser. Unlike the Copilot features built directly into Word, Excel, or PowerPoint, which focus on tasks within those apps, Copilot Chat acts as your cross-app command center. At its core, Copilot Chat is an enterprise-grade AI assistant included in Microsoft 365. It helps you summarize information, brainstorm ideas, draft content, explore code, and find answers quickly. removing repetitive work so you can move faster and with more confidence. With the full Microsoft 365 Copilot license, the experience expands even more. You gain secure, grounded AI chat, built-in agents, enterprise control for IT, and advanced tools like Copilot Pages, notebooks, file uploads, and image generation, all designed to help you work smarter while keeping your data protected. As mentioned, Microsoft 365 Copilot Chat is super easy to access wherever you're working. As long as you're signed in with your work account, you can open it from the Microsoft 365 Copilot app, the web, inside your Microsoft 365 apps, or even from the Microsoft Edge sidebar. This slide displays the entire interface, including your chat history, agents, the prompt gallery, and options to switch between work mode and web mode. They are located close together. Now, you might be wondering, how do work mode and web mode differ? We'll find out as we explore the interface during our first demo in this course. Let's start by discovering how to access Microsoft 365 Copilot. When you're in the browser, you have a first icon in the center of your screen to access it. Otherwise, you also have an option to access it via the Copilot icon on the top right of your Edge browser. Inside, you have work and web mode. Work to access your corporate data, web to use web sources. Otherwise, I can also access Copilot by using the following link on my screen if, for example, I don't have Edge browser. When I access Copilot, if I have a Microsoft 365 Copilot license, I will have work and web options. If I don't have the license, by default, it will be web mode that is activated for me. Here in the middle of my screen, I can enter my prompt. For example, look at my recent emails from the last 90 days, group them by topics and intent. So I provide very specific detailed prompt inside of my work section. It means that it will look at my emails inside of Outlook. We can review the reasoning in the lifetime. This is that it's completed 4 steps, and based on it, it's provides me an answer in real time. The first section with the links to my mails, if there is an action required as a status. Second with low priorities, as well different mails with the status and the actions, and then some executive summary with bullet points, as well as sources that will bring me to my Outlook. If I use the web mode, the idea here will to ask not related to work questions. For example, explains the difference between Microsoft 365 Copilot work mode and web mode, and gives 3 practical examples of when to use each. In this case, in the web mode, Copilot will search online the answer. It will provide me an overview of work mode with the idea where to use it, and of the web mode, saying it's for general knowledge. And what I really like about it, it's also create a table that simplify my reading. And here it's added data sources, security, what it's best for. And as I ask in my prompt, some practical examples at the end. As well as sources, this is a very important section to verify when you use a web mode, just to be sure that the sources are the correct one. As you can see, it's not only using Microsoft official website. I can also use some follow-ups prompt at the end, like show example prompts for the web mode. And if you look in the interface, there are also a few nice options like using mic to communicate orally with my Copilot, a small plus button to add some work content, upload images, or upload my cloud files from OneDrive. As well as in the bottom section, you will find different prompts example that you can try very nice section for inspiration, as well as in the bottom part, you have access to the prompt gallery with tasks, prompt, job types, prompt, and so on. So you can use those filters to find the perfect prompt for you according to the task and your job title. You can save this prompt in your prompt section if you want as well. On the top right corner, I have by default auto mode activated. It decides how long Copilot think. If I switch to quick response, Copilot will answer fastly. If I switch to think deeper, it will provide longer results and use deep search for communication. I can switch here to the temporary chat. If I switch to the temporary chat, it will not save the chat in the chat sections that you can find on the left. If I don't use temporary chat, by default, all my communications with Copilot are saved here, and I can search for them if needed. On the top, I have a new chat button to start new conversation. It's very start by default. I have a search if I want to search for the documents, library if I want to review my pages and created images, and create mode for creating visual materials. After those four main buttons, I have agents. We'll discuss them more in details in the future modules. I have my notebooks and my full chat history that is organized by the time periods and different dates. By default, we always start in the new chat section where we can submit our prompt in work or web mode. I hope you enjoyed this demo. It was useful. Let's come back to our presentation. As shown in the demo, Microsoft 365 Copilot Chat starts in web mode by default. However, with the full Microsoft 365 Copilot license, Copilot becomes much more powerful because it can also ground its responses in your work data. This is why you see two tabs, Work and Web. That simple switch determines where Copilot gets its information. Both modes use generative AI, but they're designed for very different types of productivity. Work mode is where Copilot becomes a true work assistant. In this mode, responses are grounded in the information you already have permission to access across Microsoft 365. Copilot uses Microsoft Graph to understand your work context and retrieve relevant content in real time. Microsoft Graph is essentially the secure intelligence layer behind Microsoft 365. It connects your emails, files, meetings, calendar, chats, and collaboration activity into a unified picture of how you work. It does more than store data. It understands relationships, patterns, and context, such as who you collaborate with, what projects you are involved in, which documents are most relevant, and what is happening across your day. Because of this, Copilot can surface the right information at the right time. Whether that means summarizing a meeting, pulling key points from an email conversation, helping you prepare for upcoming work, or finding the content you need. Everything remains secure and respects the same permissions and data protection rules already in place in your organization. This is where really productivity happens. From this single place, you can draft and refine messages, create documents, summarize meetings, organize your schedule, explore your content, and collaborate with others, all grounded in the context of your actual work. Web mode supports a different kind of productivity. In this mode, Copilot uses public web data through the Bing search index and does not access your work content. This makes it ideal for research, brainstorming, learning new topics, staying informed on trends, and exploring information outside of your organization. It combines generative AI with constantly updated web knowledge to provide answers based on public information rather than internal data. The advantage of having work and web side by side is that it reflects how people naturally work. Sometimes you need deep context from your documents and communications, and other times you need outside knowledge and fresh perspective. Copilot allows you to move seamlessly between both, helping you work faster while keeping your data secure. Now that you understand how Copilot Chat works in both work and web modes, let's look at how to actually chat with Copilot in just 3 simple steps. First, everything starts with your prompt. You type your request directly into the prompt box. Ask a question, describe what you need, or paste something you want Copilot to work with. And if you're ever stuck or want inspiration, the Copilot prompt gallery is the right place to give you examples, ideas, and creative ways to phrase your prompts. Once Copilot gives you an answer, take a moment to look underneath the response. Copilot is completely transparent about its sources. It shows you where the information came from, what it's web-based, grounded in your work data, or combination of both. This makes it easy to double-check, validate, and make sure the response aligns with what you want. From there, just keep the conversation going. Copilot is built to work like a natural dialogue. So you can ask follow-up question, refine the answer, make it shorter, make it more detailed, or shift the direction entirely. You can even tap on the suggested prompt and it gives you, based on what you have been talking about, it's a quick way to explore ideas faster. This is just the foundation. There are prompting techniques that take your results from good to exactly what you need. We'll dive into those in the next unit. Now that you have seen how easy it is to chat with Copilot, let's look at one of the features that really elevates the experience. Copilot Memory. Memory helps Microsoft 365 Copilot work smarter for you by remembering the things you prefer. Instead of repeating directions like keep it professional, avoid emojis, or don't use bullet points, you can simply set these once. And Copilot will automatically apply them in future conversation. It's like teaching your AI assistant your style, so you don't have to keep reminding it. You stay in complete control of what Copilot remembers. At any time, you can open Copilot settings to see your memories, update them, or delete them entirely. And if you ever want a clear one-off conversation with no personalization, you can switch to temporary chat so nothing gets saved. For organizations, IT admins can manage how memory behaves across the entire company through enhanced personalization settings, ensuring everything stays compliant and privacy ready. Alongside memory, the Copilot Chat apps give you conversational assistance for drafting, summarizing, and reasoning through tasks. But there is also Copilot Search, which is built right next to Copilot Chat experience. Search is all about discovery, finding information quickly and precisely. Chat is where you go when you want Copilot to create, explain, or think with you. Search is where you go when you need to locate something fast. And unlike a traditional keyword search, Copilot Search uses the Microsoft Graph to understand your work context, your permissions, and the data you have access to. Chat and Search both offer enterprise-grade security and compliance, ensuring your data is always protected. We'll review how to use each tool during our next demo. We'll start this demo by reviewing the memory in Copilot Chat. To access memory, you need to click on 3 dots in your top right corner, select the Settings section, And when you're inside of your settings section, you have personalization options. And in personalization options, you will find all the saved memories. It's what Copilot remember about you. If you don't want that Copilot save something about you, you can simply deactivate this section. So here, by default, it did save some info about me. It was a communication in French, so it's saved some information about me in French, and if I want, I can delete it. Also, I can access from here my work profile. It means that by default, Copilots know who I am inside of my org. And if I want in the personalization, I can also provide some custom instructions to my Copilot by specifying what are my interests, preferences, goals, and any specific content that I use where I want to make a Copilot use for me. Here I have some ideas. I can ask Copilot to use only bullet points, for example, focus on internal sources if needed. If I select some of the options, it will pre-fill the instruction for me automatically, and I can just save them here. If we look on other section in the settings, we have also data controls, as well as general setting with the version of Copilot and the information about privacy notes that we can download and review straight away from this section. As well as if we look in the 3 dots part, we can send feedback to Microsoft Teams, we can schedule sub-prompt, and we can deactivate the web search in the work mode if you don't want that work mode use the web search for providing my answer. If I submit some prompt here, for example, give me a weekly summary of AI updates, I can also decide to save this prompt inside of my schedule prompt on the top, and if I do so, it will send this prompt automatically, and I can review my schedule prompt in the same part via the 3 dots on the top right corner. To select and use any schedule prompt, first I ask my prompt that I want to schedule, and then Copilot submit the reply to my prompt. In the bottom part, you will have a possibility to schedule it. So here it's completing it. At the end, if I click on 3 dots, I have scheduled this prompt. And when I select schedule this prompt, I can select when the period starts, when it's end, what is the frequency based on which one I would schedule this prompt. And for example, I can say every week on Monday at 8:30, I want to have a weekly summary of AI-related updates. And also I can receive email with those updates if I want, and not only have them in my Copilot Chat. And after it will appear in 3 dots in my schedule prompt history. So we did see together where to find memory. I also mentioned on our slide docs that there is a search function. If I want to use search functions to find files, some employees at my organization, or content, and it's very easy, I just type what I'm searching for. For example, if I work with Alex Wilber and I want to see the documents related to him, I can add his family name, see some PowerPoints related to him, his resume, and review it straight away from my search section. So it's very powerful if you search something inside of your organization straight away. You can access those files easily by finding the content from Copilot in Microsoft 365. So we did see personalization with the memory in this demo, as well as search section. I hope you enjoy this demo. Let's come back to our presentation. So what exactly is a Copilot prompt? It's simply the question or instruction you give Copilot to help you get work done. Think of it as giving Copilot a brief before it starts works for you. The better the brief, the better the result. There are 4 essentials that make a prompt really effective. First is context. Why do you need this, and who is involved? Setting the scene helps Copilot understand the situation. Next is a goal. Be clear about what you want Copilot to do for you. After you're summarizing, drafting, analyzing, or planning. Then comes the source. Tell Copilot where to look for information, whether it is your mails, files, meetings, or the web. And finally, expectations. Explain how you want the answer delivered. Short summary, detailed explanation, table, or step-by-step guidance. When you include context, goal, source, and expectations, Copilot understands exactly what you need and delivers results that are far more useful, relevant, and ready to use. This slide is all about smart prompting habits, what to do and what to avoid. Let's start with the do's. Be clear and specific. The clearer your prompt, the better Copilot can help. Keep it conversational. You don't need robotic commands. Just explain what you need like you would like to explain it to a colleague. Give examples when you can, because examples guide Copilot towards the right style and outcome. Ask for feedback. If the response isn't quite right, prompting is a dialogue, not one-shot trick test. Write legibly with proper punctuation and grammar, so Copilot clearly understands your intent. Always check for accuracy, especially before using content in professional or customer-facing work. Provide enough details and context so Copilot can generate consistent, relevant results. Be polite. Respectful language leads to better collaboration. And finally, iterate and refine. The best results often come from a quick follow-up prompt. Now, just as important, what to avoid. Don't be vague. Vague prompts leads to vague answers. Don't request inappropriate or unethical content. Avoid slang, heavy jargon, or overly informal language that could lead to unprofessional results. Don't give conflicting instructions, because that confuses Copilot and lowers output quality. And don't interpret or change topics abruptly. Finish one conversation before starting the next. Master these simple habits, and Copilot becomes not just a tool, but a reliable productivity partner. Copilot prompts become truly powerful when you apply them to everyday business scenarios. Think about the task you already do every day. Writing mails, building presentations, preparing for meetings, organizing your workload, or making sense of data. With the right prompt, Copilot steps in as a productivity partner, not just a tool. Need to communicate quickly? Ask Copilot to draft a professional email congratulating a team on a successful project launch, and you get a polished message ready to send in seconds. Working on a presentation? Prompt Copilot to generate a 10-slide deck summarizing quarterly sales performance, giving you a strong starting point instead of a blank page. Meeting preparations become easier too. Copilot can review recent emails and calendar activity and suggest the most important topics to cover next, so you walk in focused and prepared. When your workload feels scattered, Copilot can analyze your recent messages and schedule and organize your work into clear project buckets with short descriptions, helping you see priorities at a glance. For data-driven work, Copilot really shines. You can ask it to forecast next year's sales using historical data, trends, and seasonal patterns, or analyze a spreadsheet and visualize key insights, highlighting trends, outliers, and actionable takeaways. What once took hours can now happen in minutes. The key is tailoring your prompts to the scenario. When you do that, Copilot helps you save time, reduce effort, and focus on the work that matters most. To make your Copilot prompts more specific and actionable, you can reference files, people, and topics directly inside your prompt. Think of it like tagging content the same way you already do across Microsoft 365. This reference gives Copilot instant context, so it knows exactly where to look and what matters. When you want Copilot to work with a specific file or folder, use the /, just type the / and start the file name, and Copilot links directly to it. For example, you might ask Copilot to summarize the key points from a marketing strategy deck, and Copilot knows exactly which document to use. If your prompt relates to a topic, meetings, or recurring conversation, use the hashtags. This helps Copilot anchor the request to a shared context, like a weekly team sync or a project discussion. Asking about action items from a weekly operations meeting becomes much more precise when you reference it directly. And when you want Copilot to consider someone's input or perspective, use the @ symbol followed by their name. That tells Copilot what feedback or contribution to include, making summaries and follow-ups far more relevant. Using these symbols mirrors how you already work in Microsoft 365, linking files, tagging meetings, and mentioning people. The result is smarter prompts, better context, and more accurate responses with less effort. Microsoft 365 Copilot isn't just about typing prompts. It also supports voice-enabled experiences that make work faster, more accessible, and more natural. One of the most practical features is dictation. Instead of typing, you can simply speak to compose emails, documents, or notes. It is perfect for hands-free productivity, whether you're multitasking or need accessibility support. You just start dictation, speak naturally, and Copilot turns your words into text in real time. Imagine drafting a report or responding to emails while you are on the move. Another powerful feature is read aloud. Copilot can read its responses out loud directly from the chat pane in Word and PowerPoint across web, desktop, and Mac. That makes it easier to multitask and is especially helpful for users with visual impairments or reading difficulties. You can listen to Copilot summaries while reviewing other materials or preparing for meetings, like hearing a spoken recap of your calendar or meeting notes. Then there is a voice chat, which takes interaction to the next level. Instead of typing, you can have a natural two-way spoken conversation with Copilot. Voice chat keeps context throughout the session, making it ideal for interactive questions and follow-ups. You can start a voice chat directly from the prompt box or use shortcuts like Win+C or the Copilot key on Windows. This is great when you want to ask questions about your files or projects and get spoken answers back, just like talking to a digital assistant that actually understands your work. As you start using Copilot prompts in your daily work, staying organized makes a big difference. If you find yourself using the same prompt again and again, save it. That way, you don't waste time retyping and your results stay consistent. Saved prompts live in your prompt gallery, making them easy to reuse for recurring tasks like summarizing emails, drafting weekly updates, or creating meeting agendas. One important thing to remember, saved prompts can be edited directly. If you want to change one, run it again, adjust the wording, and save it as a new prompt. That keeps your gallery clean and avoids confusion. You can also take things a step ahead by scheduling prompts. Copilot doesn't need you to be online to get work done. You can schedule prompts to run automatically, like summarizing your inbox every morning or generating a weekly status update. Once scheduled, Copilot handles it in the background, so you start the day already prepared. You can manage scheduled prompts anytime, run them on demand, turn them off, or delete them when you're no longer needed. When you save, schedule, and share prompts, Copilot becomes more than a chat tool. It becomes a proactive partner that supports your daily tasks and team goals. Sharing prompts help your team reuse what works best and creates consistency across workflows, helping everyone move faster with less effort. Managing conversations in Copilot Chat is how you stay organized and in control as your work grows. Copilot Chat keeps a searchable history of your conversations, so nothing gets lost. You can quickly go back to previous chats to follow up on tasks, reuse ideas, or continue work from an earlier session. Whether you're looking for a project discussion, a draft you created or earlier, on an insight Copilot surfaced last week, you can find it in seconds by browsing your conversations or searching with keywords that matter to you, like project names or tasks phrases. Over time, not every conversation stays relevant. Deleting outdated chats helps keep your workspace clean and focused, especially when you're juggling multiple projects. Removing old conversations make it easier to find what is current and important, while still respecting any organizational retention policies that may apply. Renaming chats is another simple habit that makes a big difference. Giving conversations meaningful names lets you organize your work by topics instead of guessing what each chat contains. When you label chats clearly, you can instantly recognize what is inside and jump back into the right context without wasting time. By finding, cleaning up, and renaming your conversations, Copilot Chat becomes a structured workspace where ideas, tasks, and insights stay connected, easy to manage, and ready whenever you need them. Now that you know how to organize prompts in conversations, let's take the next step and put Copilot to work for you. This is where Copilot agents come in. Copilot agents take Copilot Chat to the next level. Think of them as expert teammates. Built into Microsoft 365, each focused on a specific kind of work. These agents help automate tasks, answer questions, and streamline business processes, all directly from the Copilot Chat interface. They work alongside you in apps you already use every day, like Word, Excel, Outlook, and Teams. You can create and manage agents right inside Copilot Chat, whether you're using Microsoft 365 in the browser or the desktop app. You can describe what you want your agent to do using natural language, configuring it with templates, or explore ready-to-use agents in the Agent Store. The Agent Store is a curated marketplace with pre-built agents from Microsoft, partners, and internal teams, all validated for enterprise use and ready to deploy quickly. Microsoft also provides powerful pre-built agents to help you get started fast. Researcher and analyst pre-built agents are among the most popular. Researcher helps you gather, analyze, and summarize information from your work content and the web. It's ideal for clients' briefs, market research, or learning materials. It even asks clarifying questions and delivers structured reports with sources, making the output easy to review, edit, and share. Another favorite is analyst. Analyst acts like a virtual data analyst, helping you understand complex spreadsheets and data sets. You don't need deep data skills. Just ask a question, and analyst identifies trends, calculates insights, and creates visuals like charts and tables. It is perfect for sales, comparisons, spotting anomalies, or summarizing financial data. These agents are built directly into the Microsoft 365 Copilot experience and are available to most users without any additional license. When your needs go beyond general help, that is where custom agents come in. Custom agents let you tailor Copilot to the way you and your team actually work. Instead of adapting your workflow to AI, you design an agent that understands your team's knowledge, follows your preferred style, and supports your specific business processes. It's easy to create an agent. Let's go straight to the portal to see how it's done. To create my agent inside of Microsoft 365 Copilot, I will use the agent section on my left side. Here I have a possibility to search for agents that built by Microsoft that are featured, and to select one that works best for me, like analyst for data analysis, prompt coach for improving prompts, idea coach for brainstorming sessions, writing coach to create some engaging text, learning coach for discovering new topics, or career coach if I want to progress my professional path. If I didn't find an agent that works for me, I can create a new one according to my needs. I have a button here on the left side as well inside of my all agent section. And when I click on create a new agent, I have a configure part in which one I can provide a name, description, and instruction for my agent. Or I can even use the prompt to design and pre-fill all configuration menu for my agent. So if I use describe section instead of configure, I can specify in the prompt what I want to create, add some corporate content, and Copilot will pre-fill for me automatically my configure section. So if I create something like assist new colleague with onboarding by providing guidance, answering questions, and offering insights, Copilot will answer, okay, I set the agent name to onboarding helper, added a clear description and instruction, and included some basic conversation. If we come back now to configure section, we'll see that the name was pre-filled, description as well. And we can even use Copilot and generative AI to generate an icon for this agent, or I can browse or upload a file for it. If I want to, I can simply use this generate section to describe the icons that I would like to have for my onboarding helper agent. And you see in a few minutes or seconds, it generates a new icon for me. I can select if I want to keep this icon. I can add some follow-up prompt and just apply it to my newly created agent. After we specify the icon, we can review the name, modify the description, and review the instructions of my agent. There are multiple sections provided the purpose of this agent, guidelines that it's supposed to use, the skills that it has. All of it is fully customizable. I can delete some skills or modify step-by-step instructions if I want. As well as you can see that there are a few extra interesting sections that Copilot added, like error handling and limitations. So it's mean I specify how my agent's supposed to behave if it doesn't know the answer, as well if it's asked for feedback, interactions, and so on. And if I don't need, for example, asking people for feedback, I just delete this part of my instructions. I can also specify the knowledge sources of my agent, like if I want to use Teams, Outlook, web sources, SharePoint, OneDrive, and so on, and decide if I want to activate web search or I want to deactivate web search and ask Copilot to use only specific website, like my corporate website, for example. I can also add some capabilities to my agent, like generation of the document, charts, and code generation, as well as I can specify if this agent can generate images or not. And I can add some suggested prompts to my agent that my final user will see on its screen when my user connect to the agent. So we have the agent preview on the right to test it. After we test and we are happy with my agent, I can click on create, as I did, and go straight away to my newly created agent. Here we have my onboarding helper available to me that was added to my agent list. I can pin it if I want to see it all the time and on the top of my agent pane. I can share it, I can edit it if I want to modify, and I can verify again that it's working perfectly by submitting some prompt, like, for example, are there any recommendations regarding the training materials for the new hire, and it will provide me some output. For sure, don't hesitate to test your agent by taking a bit more time than I did before publishing it, but also don't forget that you can always edit your agent when you want and also share it with your colleagues. I hope you enjoyed this demo about how to create and customize your agent. Let's come back to our presentation. Let's quickly recap what you have learned in this model. You now know how to craft effective prompts that get better, more accurate responses from Copilot. You have seen how to clean up your workspace by deleting prompts you no longer need, and how to identify and manage scheduled prompts directly in Copilot window. You also understand how organizational settings can affect which scheduled prompts are available, and how to use those scheduled prompts to automate daily, midweek, and end-of-day business tasks to boost productivity. And finally, you have learned how to access and create agents directly from Copilot Chat, turning Copilot into a true teammate for your work. This doesn't have to stop here. There are plenty of ways to keep building your skills. I encourage you to continue with the next videos in this course, or explore your next favorite topic on Microsoft Learn at aka.ms/learn. Thank you for learning with me, and happy learning!